What's happening, guys? Will here from RevolutionaryLifestyleDesign.com. Coming to you today for part two of the series on how to be a player in the game of life. This one is on how to get position. In part one, we talk about how being alpha, which is what a lot of guys recommend in the manosphere, is overrated. Okay, it's important to be alpha. It's important to be able to project dominance and confidence, but to get what you want in life is as much about having those alpha instincts as it is restraining them. And it's about using your brain and your social skills and adopting the mentality of being a player in the game of life instead of being boxed into this sort of rigid role. Okay, out of all the mentalities that I've tested, the mentality of being a player in the game of life and treating life as if it were a game is by far the most useful one across all aspects of your personal development. So let's get into how to get position. Okay, as we covered in part one, getting ahead in a knowledge-based economy is not about being super alpha and dominant and using brute force. It's a knowledge economy is based around position. You know, a guy like Bill Gates, who never would have been able to uh, get a leadership role in the primitive jungle, is a guy who's worth $40 billion because he used his brain and he played for the position of corporate leader, and he got it. So that's where we need to start. Okay, if you're serious about learning how to be a player in the game of life, you need to develop the game plan to get what you want. And what you're playing for is self-interest. Okay, what you're playing for is your health, happiness, wealth, all those good things. Okay, it's not about buying into movements like feminism or liberalism or conservatism or any other movement, any other ism, any other thing. It is about getting what you want. It is about taking care of yourself, your friends, your family. And that is what it means to be a player in the game of life, and doing what is necessary to live the life that you want within your moral code, of course. Okay, it's about playing the fuck out of your hand at all times. At all times, whatever card you're dealt, you're thinking, what is the best way to play this? What do I have to do to win? What's my next move? Because you don't have a choice. You're in life. There is no option to sit on the stands and be a spectator. Life is not a spectator sport. You're in it. Okay? There's no choice about that. And you either play whatever you have to the best of your ability, or you get played by life. It's as simple as that. Most people get played by life because they don't even realize that a game's being played. They look at the politicians and they think that they're acting in their best interest. You know, you look at a country like America with 300 million people, and you have a choice between two, and people buy into this system. They think that that's an actual choice. In reality, none of that shit is relevant to your personal life. Okay, and that is what I keep hammering to you guys. It's about the revolution in revolutionary lifestyle design is a personal revolution. It's about spiritual, mental, physical freedom. It's about maximizing your happiness across all aspects of your life. And that's it. Okay? It's not about all that other shit. It's not about buying into all that other shit. It's about playing for what you want and what you deserve in the game of life. And the way that you do that is to get position. That's how you get ahead in a leader in a knowledge-based economy, is you get position. Okay? And what we're going to get into in this article is how exactly to get position. Okay? To get position in life, you first need to understand what position is. Position is just leadership. But leadership is no longer just brute force dominance. It's about playing smart to get that leadership position. It's about thinking, how do I get that leadership position with women or with my friends or in business? And then what do I have to do to get it? Okay? When you have position, you get freedom, you get validation, you get respect, and you even get money depending on the situation. The position that I played into, the role of personal development guru or whatever the fuck you want to call it, I'm even getting paid off the position that I built. Okay, that's how far you can take it. Without a position, you've got someone else calling the shots in your life. Okay, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's your boss, whether it's the leader in your social circle, someone else is calling the shots. You're either a leader or a follower. Okay, that there's no two ways about it. And unless you want to follow people around, unless you want to have someone else telling you what to do, you need to become a leader in all aspects of your life. You have to be if you're that kind of guy. Okay, if you're the kind of guy that wants to be free, you have to become a leader. It's that simple. Um, but not everyone's cut out for it. The world needs janitors. The world needs someone, to clean apartments. The world needs all kinds of things for the system to operate. And it's not fair. It's not remotely fair, but that's how it is. And I don't write for those guys. For the guy who's just okay with things as they are, and he's okay working a job, and he's okay going into debt, $400,000 for a house that he can't afford, and he's got mediocre relationships and a wife telling him what to do. I don't write for those guys, okay? I wish those guys all the best. I wish everyone the best, but I only write for guys who are either in the top 1% or trying to get into the top 1%. All right, the rest of the guys I'm not writing for. The guys I'm writing for are born with a fire inside of them. Okay, if you don't have that fire, I can't help you. You have to be born with that. That fire makes you hate working for someone else. Hate. That fire makes you hate being treated with disrespect in your social circle. That fire makes you hate having a girlfriend trying to control your life. Okay? Those are inborn alpha instincts. No one had to teach me those things. I hated being told what to do in school. I hated being told what to do in a job. I hated anyone telling me what to do, and I still do. And no one had to teach me that. In fact, they tried to teach me the opposite about how to be a good little boy, and that didn't work because I have that fire inside, and I'm never happy unless I'm the man in that situation. That's just how it is for me. And the guys that I'm talking to are guys who are born the same way. Okay? You might not have realized it till just now. You might not have realized it that you have that fire in you until I brought up those examples. But if you have that fire in you, then you're the guy I'm talking to. If you don't, then my stuff's not for you. That's really what it's about. Okay, this is not mainstream personal development. If you want that, you can be anything and all that stuff. You can go read Tony Robbins or whoever. This is about real talk to guys who are serious, and it's not possible for everyone to succeed. It's not even close to possible. Okay, that's why I'm only talking to the guys who have that fire inside of them, who are never happy unless they're the man, because this is in your nature. It is in your soul to succeed. Okay, that's who I'm talking to. Now, if you're born with that and you have all that stuff and you want to become a leader in all aspects of your life, you need to understand the formula for position. Okay, the formula for position is simple. It's accurate thinking, adding value, and playing for it. That's it. Accurate thinking, adding value, and playing for position. That's all you need to do. Okay, all you need to do is follow that formula. Accurate thinking means the position you're aiming for is a realistic shot. It's a realistic one. Okay, you're not aiming to be a tech billionaire unless you have an IQ of a Mark Zuckerberg or a Bill Gates. Adding value means that you add enough value for people to be willing to follow you. I've been adding free value on this site for the last 4 years, and in return, people have sort of started to come around and have now started to pay me for that. um, but and have taken my advice, but it's strictly because they found it valuable. And the second I stop being valuable is the second I go out of business. I become irrelevant. You always have to be able to add that value to get people to follow you and want to be around you. Okay, being a leader is not just about saying, well, I'm the leader and I'm the boss, and this is how it goes. No, it is about taking on the responsibilities of leadership. It's about directing the flow. It's about bringing people together, adding value to everyone around you, uplifting everyone around you. Okay, that's what it's about. And lastly, it means playing for it. It means you go out there and do whatever it takes to get that position. It's not about sitting there like, oh man, I wish I could go talk to that girl. It's about actually just going out there and doing it, even if you're scared. Fuck, especially when you're scared, just to get out there and get it done. So, first type of position we're going to talk about is position in social circles. Position in social circles breaks down like this. Accurate thinking means aiming for being a part of the best crew that you have a realistic shot of making. Adding value means being friendly, knowing hot girls, having access to cool parties, and playing for it means playing for it to happen instead of waiting for it to happen. Okay, if you're still in high school, you need to be part of a good crew. You can't get away with, or college, you can't get away with being a lone wolf or at the bottom of the social hierarchy. Okay, that is just not a fun way to live, and it's going to haunt you in terms of your development for the rest of your life. Those kids who are picked on in high school, a lot of the time will have a lot of trouble, getting their adult life together. So you really need to work hard in high school and college. I don't recommend going to college, but if you're going to college, you need to be part of a crew. You join a frat or you join the crew or whatever it is that you have to do. It's not until you get outside of school that you can sort of do your own thing. So to get positioned in school, you got to figure out where you stand. If you're a cool guy already, that's perfect. But if not, you need to step your game up, get your style together, get your fitness together. Check out my videos on all that and go hard at it. Okay, being cool takes work. Unless you're Keith Richards, you're not a fucking cool guy. You're not born that way. You gotta have the social intelligence and you gotta play the game. That. There's no two ways about that. To add value, adding value in school is about being cool to everyone. It's about knowing hot girls. It's about knowing cool guys. It's about dressing well. It's about knowing where the party is that weekend, every weekend. And it's about making sure you're never a social liability. You're not awkward. You're not weird. You don't do weird things. You don't embarrass the guys that want to bring you around by acting weird. You got to get in control of all that shit. And playing for it means playing for the best crew that you can find. Okay, might not always be the most popular crew in school. If the jocks run your school and you can't play football for shit, then you don't have a prayer of being part of that crew. However, the drama kids who know all the hot wannabe actresses might let you in if you come in at a good position. That's why I took drama class. Whatever it is, the move has to be realistic. If you're already in a good crew, you can stay there. Just don't expect to move up in your crew. If you're the leader of your crew, sees you enhancing all your personal development and all that shit, he might respect that, but he's not going to respect when you try and come take his position. He's gonna slap you down. It's almost impossible to take position unless you've done it in like the first couple months. So you're either going to stay at your good crew or you're going to join another crew. You're going to start another crew. That's how it goes. Or sometimes the move is joining a better crew where you're not the leader, but you're the lieutenant. Okay, you've got the secondary position. Whatever it is, you got to figure out what the best position is for you in that particular scenario. The only position you can't accept is being the low man on the totem pole. You can be a lieutenant, but you can't be a bitch. Even if you're running with the top dogs in your school, you can't be the guy who gets shit on by everyone. You got to drop that crew, even if it's the best crew, because doesn't matter how popular those guys are, being shit on and being disrespected, you'll never be able to be happy that way. You know, it's better off going to a lower crew that you can dominate instead of being with all those guys and being the whipping boy. Is you know, almost every crew has a whipping boy, and you know, you don't want to be that dude. You need to be the guy getting respect. So my experience in school, I wasn't the man I was now. I was kind of like a semi-natural, you could call it. And I remember in grade 9, I went there. I didn't know anyone except for this one guy, this alpha guy I went to middle school with. We weren't great friends, but we became great friends at the new school because we didn't know anyone and we both wanted to be popular. And the first couple months in grade 9 was fucking rough. I remember it very clearly because you're at the bottom of this fucking school. The girls are all dating guys in grade 11. No one cares about you. But we started putting in work. You know, I started recruiting guys. He started recruiting guys. We started recruiting girls. We found a guy with a huge house for house parties, and we started throwing parties. And by the end of grade 13, we still had grade 13 in Canada. We were the most popular guys in school. We had all the young hot girls coming to our parties. You know, we were stealing them all the way from grade 10 to grade 13. And it was great because we just kept putting in that work year after year, and all the guys who were more popular either got kicked out or failed out of our school because our school was an academic school. And so it worked out really well. Of course, I wanted to be the man, but I didn't have the skills to lead back then. So I took the lieutenant's position, and that was definitely the best move for me. You know, it made my high school years fun, and it was a great time. But once I got to college, I dropped out of college. It wasn't for me. And I realized I could just pick up girls off the street. So I realized I didn't need this big social circle that was taking up all of my time. So I put my time into becoming a pro trader, which I became successful at for a while. I dropped the guys from high school and basically just kept around my buddies from junior school who I was still friends with and I'm still friends with. And my social life really just became of having those guys over to play video games or play cards, have a few beers once a week. And the rest of the time I was focused on trading, and then it became sales and all these other businesses and eventually RLD. And the rest of the time I just went to the girls, you know, that I would pick up and have over, you know, 1, 2, 3 times a week. And that was the extent of my social circle from my 20s until my early 30s. Last year I moved out to Asia. Within a week, I built up a new new social circle from reaching out to a few guys I knew online who were out here, and a couple guys that I met. Within a month, I'd organized a party at this bar where we put together like 80 people showed up. You know, I met probably like 200-300 people my first month just from going out a lot, and I was really having just such a great time enjoying my new freedom in Thailand that I thought I could throw these parties and do RLD at the same time, but I was dead wrong. I'm way too old to be staying out three nights a week, and my social circle was taking too much time away from my business. So I had to drop the social circle and refocus on RLD, which is what I've been doing for the last year. My social circle now is the same as it was back home. I just hang out with a couple guys once a week for beers, and I have a girl over once, maybe twice a week, sometimes less if I'm working hard on getting a project done. So that's how things are for me. But again, for you, wherever you are in your stage of development, you got to figure out what the right position is for you, what the right move is for you, and follow the formula to get it. Next up, position with women. Here's how the formula applies to position with women. Accurate thinking means only date sweet, happy, submissive girls, aka girls who want to give you position. Yes, many girls want to be submissive to a strong guy. There's many girls that don't. Just get rid of them. Adding value, be as attractive and charming as you can, maximizing your sexual value. Millions of articles on that on my website. And playing for it. Play for the best girl that you can get, as opposed to girls you don't have a prayer with. You're not getting that supermodel, most likely. But you can get that like cute or semi-cute girlfriend. Um, you just got to play for it. So first off, accurate thinking. Position with women is the easiest position to get of all three positions: business, social, or women. Women's the easiest to get. All you have to do is find that sweet, easygoing, submissive girl, because that girl is literally waiting around to give position to a strong, confident guy. That's it. Assume the position of leader and find the girl who's into you that's looking to be led. That's it. 99% of the mistakes guys make with women is that they date the wrong women. They date drama queens or bitches or dominant women or liars or time wasters. And that's not a value judgment. There's nothing wrong with dominant women who want to date a beta male. That's perfectly fine. You're just not going to get along with that girl. So that's the type of girl that needs to be screened out. But when you find the sweet, happy, loyal, submissive, that's the right woman for you. Your position's going to be solid as a rock, and it's very easy to have healthy, happy, drama-free relationships with those types of girls. Adding value means maximizing your sexual market value, building up your body, dressing well, getting your game together, learning how to take her on a date and have a great time, and learning how to be good in bed. In the article below this video, you've got links to all that stuff. The more value you can add, the better quality of women you can get. Lastly, playing for it. Okay, you might be a pimp already, or you might be a virgin. Doesn't matter where you are. What matters is that you play the game to the best of your ability. You might get easy success with women, or it might be a struggle. If you're struggling right now, that's okay, because at least it means you're trying. Just remember, the idea is not to become the world's greatest pickup artist. That shit doesn't matter. The idea is to play the fuck out of the hand that you're dealt. It's to take the cards that you've been dealt and play them to the best of your ability. Okay? You might have the programming skills to kill it in business, but you might not have the raw genetic material to become a top 1% player. And that's okay. We all have different skill sets. We were all born, God gave us all different attributes. Okay, I'm pretty good at picking up women, but I couldn't program a fucking microwave. I would love to be able to program. I would be making so much fucking money right now with that skill, but I can't do it. Okay, so the move is to play as hard as you can and not get upset over what some other guy can do. I see so many of these guys on these hater forums whining about not being able to get girls because you can only get girls if you look like a male supermodel or whatever. And that's just not fucking true at all. It's not true at all. There's so many things you can do. Okay? And I bet my business that none of these guys have given 110% of their efforts to improving themselves with women. Okay, if you're 18 to 35, willing to give 110% at building up your body, dressing well, sharpening your game, playing the numbers, I'm confident that you can at least get a cute or like a semi-cute girlfriend. Okay, depending on where you are, if you're really struggling, it might take you 3 years of work, but it can be done. All right, you might never be able to become the super stud. All right, I'm not giving you that PUA bullshit. Your looks do matter, and they matter a lot, but what matters even more is playing them to the best of your ability, is getting in shape, is dressing well. Okay, you might be a 4 right now, but if you work hard, you could bump that up to a 7 if you really get all those things together. All right, you're not going to be able to get the supermodels, but you can get that cute, sweet, loyal girlfriend. And don't worry, being a super stud is fucking overrated anyways. Your best moments are not going to come from that drunk girl that you had sloppy sex with at the bar. It's going to come from, that cute, sweet, loyal girlfriend, you know, who really makes you happy. Okay, it's important to play hard with women. The last thing I want to say is just don't make the mistake I did in my 20s of spending too much time with girls. You got to have, if you're 18 to 35, the primary purpose of your life has got to be getting your money together, getting your business together so that you're going to be comfortable for the rest of your life. Okay, it's very, very important. Position in business. Here's how the formula applies. Accurate thinking, aiming to start a business with the highest probability of success. My advice is to start a service business. Adding value, you add value to your clients through excellent client service and playing for it. Starting the damn business instead of just talking about it. Okay? Accurate thinking. To get position in business, the best way is to start a business. It's not working at a corporate job for 15 years to get a promotion where you still have 35 guys on top of you telling you what to do. Middle management, that doesn't hold a lot of appeal for me. Probably doesn't hold a lot of appeal for you. The smartest way to get position in business, starting your own business. When you start your own business, no one tells you what to do. I'm talking to you at 2:53 on a Wednesday afternoon. I could be literally doing anything right now because no one tells me what to do. And that's a beautiful thing. I happen to have a product business, you'll notice, but this product business was built on top of 4 failures. I spent close to a decade failing at business. I have a particularly unique set of skills and unique experiences for the personal development business, and I moved halfway across the world to do it. It's not a path I'd recommend for most guys. The reason I recommend a service-based business is because it has the highest probability of success. Okay, you can get over failing in a business, but it sets you back a couple years and it sets you back a lot of money, time, and frankly, a lot of stress. I want you guys to come out of the gate with a successful business on your first try. That's the ideal. And the service-based business is the best shot at succeeding because you have no inventory, no overhead, no inventory. You have a proven market. You have plenty of guys to model who are already succeeding, real estate agents or insurance agents or whoever. Yes, you won't make millions. Yes, you won't have passive income, at least until later on when you can productize that knowledge. And yes, they don't scale well, but you also won't spend 7 years of your prime failing in business. This is not fucking fun, guys. I promise you that. You also don't need to have employees, which is a really cool thing. Most product-based businesses, you need employees. Employees account for 90% of your business stress, managing your employees. And, you really want to avoid them if you can. With that said, I'm not saying you can't take a shot at the big time. I took a shot at a tech business. We got close. We get a verbal agreement to get bought out by a major Canadian media company. That fell through, like all deals do. But if that's your dream, don't let me stop you. But just make sure that you're cut out for it. If you have a Mark Zuckerberg IQ, then okay, make it happen. But for the average guy, you're really rolling the dice. You really the odds are against you. Put it that way. Just keep all that in mind. With that said, you might not be ready to start your own business right now. So the position you have to play for to get to the inevitable position of owning your own business is employee. And to play employee, you need to get a job that's going to pay you 70 grand a year, because that's the only type of way you're going to be able to save 2 grand a month to be able to build that runway and investment cash for your business. Okay, if you have the brain for it, I recommend IT, programming, accounting. Those are all good jobs to get paid if you have the brain and the skill set for it. If not, I recommend doing what I did, which is getting a sales job. Sales is fucking hell, but it pays well. You can check out my book on how to sell at my website if you wanna learn how to do that. 3 years in sales, making 65 grand to 120 grand a year, assuming you're living cheap and banking cash, will give you a nice big cushion for that business. You'll also learn how to sell, how to service clients, and ideally you could take the sales skills in that business and, if you learn how to become a real estate agent working for someone else, take those exact skills and start selling real estate for yourself. Ideally, you want to have your entire game plan mapped out by the time you set foot in the door, okay? And the move is grind hard, learn how to sell, build your runway, investment, and emergency cash. Build your service business on the side until you're making consistent money, and then go all in on your business and tell your boss to stick that job straight up his candy ass. Make no mistake, those years of working your corporate job and building your business will be fucking hard, but that's the price to pay for freedom. You're not supposed to get free, okay? You're not supposed to win. That's why you have to pay the price and do all the shit that the average guy is not willing to do. Lastly, we're going to talk about adding value in business. The way to add value is find a vertical with a proven path to 6 figures or the developing world equivalent if you're going to have an online service business. Become an expert on your market, sell your ass off, and service the hell out of your clients. Pardon my French. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're taking a proven model for success, outworking your competitors, out-servicing your competitors, and that's it. Okay? It's not rocket science. Some examples for offline service businesses are selling insurance, selling real estate, selling personal training, selling high performance coaching, selling life coaching, or a blue collar business like contracting or asphalt paving, whatever it is. Some online examples are programming, web design, IT services, life coaching for entrepreneurs. 2 guys I know were making 6 figures in this. 6 figures American, and they're living in Thailand, which means they have an absolute fucking ton of cash. Marketing services, SEO services, webmaster services, tons of options. And lastly, you got to play for it. You got to play harder than your competitors. You got to service harder. You got to, just do everything they do better and work harder. That's it. And it's hard. It's hard getting ahead in business. It's hard getting in business, getting your own business together. It's very fucking hard. But again, I don't write for the average guy. The average guy's not cut out for it. The average guy is not going to be willing to make the sacrifices. He's not going to be able to handle the stress, and he's going to have to work a job. The average guy needs someone to pay for his life because he can't do it himself. But I'm not writing for that dude. I'm writing for you, and hopefully you are the type of guy that wants to be in the top 1%. If you're making 6 figures, you're in the top 1%. That whole Occupy Wall Street bullshit about, the top 1%, this and that. The top 1% is not the Wall Street hedge fund manager. The top 1% is the guy who makes 100 grand. Okay, that's in America. Across the world, the top 1% is like 60 or 70 grand. The average American makes something like 35 or 40 grand. They make nothing, so you gotta have that mentality to get into that 6-figure business. You gotta have it. You gotta be willing to do what it takes, and you gotta play for it. One last point on playing for it is occasionally a situation will come up where to get further ahead, you have to accept a lower position. And I'm not just including being an employee. I'm including if you find someone to mentor you, okay? It's unlikely I'll find a mentor. I'm doing pretty well with the blog, and it's very unlikely someone would mentor me for free. But if Tim Ferriss, the multi-millionaire ultra successful blogger wanted to mentor me, I would take that role in a heartbeat. It would be yes sir, no sir, Tim. I would make Tim's happiness my absolute priority in life in exchange for his knowledge and connections. And there's no way I'd ruin that opportunity by trying to out alpha him. Okay, know your fucking role. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Know your role. Know what your current position is, and play that current position out to the fullest. If your current position is employee, be that good little employee with a smile on your face. Your company's great. Everything's great. All that fucking shit. You know, play the hell out of your role until you have that leadership role. That's what I'm trying to say. So, my experience, real quick, I'm going to give you my experience in getting position in business. Took me a long time. My main problem was inaccurate thinking. I paid for it with 4 business failures that cost me time, money, and sometimes my sanity at points. You know, many a computer was broken over shit that went wrong in my businesses, and partnering with people who hijacked domains. My buddy had a business partner steal money from him. We had a business partner go completely MIA. All kinds of bullshit. Okay. It wasn't until I transitioned from delusional positivity to realistic positivity that things turned around. Okay, I recognized my limitations. I recognized what works in the real world. I put in the necessary work, and I set realistic targets with realistic expectations. And that's been incredibly crucial for me. Um, the other big thing that I didn't do well was not playing hard enough. When I was 23, uh, I made a fortune day trading. And if I'd been playing to win, um, I would have never had to work a corporate job again. But instead, I knew had to start a business, but I half-assed the execution, never made anything happen, and I frittered the rest of the money away on girls and toys and living expenses. And my punishment for not taking that, I think I had like $150,000 at one point in my bank account. My punishment for not fucking in getting that goddamn business off the ground was having to go find a job in sales and spending nearly a fucking decade in the trenches of corporate sales before I got out for good. And I'm telling you, there wasn't a day that I thought about why I didn't invest that money into my own business, why I didn't just kill myself to make it happen. You know, probably every day I thought about that. Okay, I'm telling you guys, this shit is no fucking joke. No joke. Life is not a joke. You only get one shot, and you have to play to win or you suffer the consequences. My consequence was fucking nearly a decade of working a job that I hated when I could have been free at 23. At 23, I could have come out to Thailand and started any kind of fucking business. You know, I had 150 grand in the bank. I could have done whatever the fuck I wanted to do. But hindsight's 2020. I don't worry about that now because I found my mission in RLD. I love what I'm doing with RLD, and I made it happen. But to make it happen in RLD, I had to put out free content for years without making money. I had to give up my anonymity. I'm all over YouTube talking about really politically incorrect shit. Eventually, someone will dox my real name, and I'll never be able to get a corporate job again, which is good. I don't want to work a corporate job again, and I never will work a corporate job again. And I had to move halfway across the world. I could have lived on what I'm making in Canada, but I couldn't live at the standard that I was accustomed to from making 6 figures in sales. Now I live in Thailand like a king, but I had to move halfway across the world to be comfortable. Within a couple of years, I'll be able to go back to Canada with the same standard of living. But again, that's just one of the sacrifices, one of the many sacrifices I made to make my dream happen. My friends and family saw it as insanity, but I didn't care. I figured the worst that could happen was that I die in a third world gutter, but that sounded better to me than another decade of corporate sales because that's how fucking serious I was. That's how hard I was willing to play. It was whatever it takes, whatever I have to fucking do, I'm gonna do because that's how fucking serious I am. And that's how serious you need to get if you really want that business to succeed. It can't just be like, oh, I want to start a business. I'd like to start a business. It has to be, I'm fucking doing this and it's do or die, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. That's the mentality. So, conclusion. If you want to be the man, you have to play for it. Being alpha, is important. It's important to be confident and dominant and all this stuff the other guys in the manosphere talk about. But those instincts need to be restrained just as much as they need to be indulged. That's so important. Success in the modern world is not about brute force dominance. It's about using your brain and finding the smart move to play at all times. Okay? It's not going to be easy. It's not always going to be easy. In fact, it's going to be hard in a lot of cases, especially with business. But it's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, everyone would have all these good things. The system is not designed for you to get ahead. You're not supposed to be popular. You're supposed to be the good little boy who listens to his teachers and parents and never steps out of line. You're not supposed to get a lot of girls. You're supposed to put women on a pedestal and buy them a bunch of stuff while they get bored with you and fantasize about getting fucked by a strong, confident guy. And you're definitely not supposed to own your own business. Imagine a world where everyone was self-sufficient. Who would be there to chauffeur and cook and clean and bodyguard, the David Rockefellers of the world? Who would be there to do all that stuff if every man was independent and self-sufficient, right? That's not how the system's built. The system's built to have everyone working for a corporation paying up taxes to the military-industrial complex and paying up profits to the wealthy families that own shares in that corporation. That's the fucking system, guys. You're not supposed to have position because winning is not natural. The system is not designed for everyone to win, not even fucking close. If you want to win, you have to play hard. You have to beat the odds, and you have to apply the formula that I'm breaking down for you to do it. That's the fucking game, okay? I see people on my How to Be a Minimalist video whining and complaining about some comment that I said about Trump that I can't even fucking remember. If you're getting upset about politics, you are not a player in the game of life. If you can get outraged about something that some random guy on the internet says, you're not a player in the game of life. The only thing you should be getting outraged about is why you're not getting the things that you want in life. You should be outraged about the fact that you have to work a fucking job. That should be outraged. That should be making you angry. Buying into politicians or the theater of politics or sports teams or media propaganda or all these isms is straight fucking retardation, okay? Straight retardation. None of that shit fucking matters. None of that shit matters because you don't have any control over the decision-making process. You don't have any power over that. Your vote doesn't fucking matter. What you think doesn't fucking matter. Your opinions about politics does not fucking matter. Okay? You're not a decision maker in the grand scheme of life. You're not going to change the world on a major level unless you have $1 billion at the fucking minimum or an army. That's how fucking change happens, okay? The rest of you guys are fucking irrelevant. You don't matter in the grand scope of changing the world. But that's okay because you got to get rid of the idea of changing the world. You need to matter to yourself. That's what's important, okay? That's what's important, is making your life as happy, healthy, comfortable as possible. And then when you're able to do that, you're able to do it, you help your friends, and then maybe you're able to do it on a larger scale like I am, trying to help people like you. That's how it goes. That's your mission in life, and that's what you're playing for. And you're playing for leadership in all areas. You're playing for fun, freedom, fulfillment, helping others, lifting up the people around you, and creating the best life for yourself. That's what you're playing for, okay? That's the only revolution, revolutionary lifestyle design, is a personal revolution, being a player in the game of life. focusing on you, focusing on making your life the best, and using realistic, accurate thinking to do it, adding value, and playing the hell out of your hand, okay? And that's how you do it, okay? And when you can do that, when you have all that stuff together, your life can be pretty damn amazing. My life, I have to say it, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging because I know some of you guys might be struggling, but my life is pretty damn amazing right now. Okay, I don't have anyone telling me anything. There's nothing I have to do. It's all freedom, and all the people around me, the girls are nice and sweet. The guys are great, easygoing guys. You know, I got great readers like you, great people watching my videos. It's a beautiful thing because I play for those things. When you play hard for those things, you can get them, and your life, the quality of your life, will be so much better. It's hard for me even to describe it to you. Okay, you can be a leader. You can find a great girl or girls, and you can live without anyone telling you what to do. And it's a beautiful thing. And the good news is, just by being a player in the game of life, just by understanding that concept and internalizing that concept into your soul, you put yourself ahead of 99% of guys. Because 99% of guys aren't even playing the game. Fuck, they don't even realize that there's a game to be played. That's how far out of it they are. They're just getting played from every angle by the media, by the government, by their boss, by their wife. They're just fucking taking it on all levels, and they don't even recognize what the fuck is going on. Just by being a player in the game of life, you put yourself ahead of all those guys because they're not even in the game. Okay? So that's it, boys. Just follow the formula and make it happen. And stay tuned for part 3 on how to keep position once you get it. As always, I wish you all the best in your personal development journey, and I want to thank you for reading the article, watching the video, or listening to the audio on SoundCloud or iTunes. All the best.